here with my Hobonichi Cousin Avec, and which begins with July. So I am just starting on this book that will take me through December. So this is the title page for the month. I just did some painting, some washi, one of my own images here. I guess a couple, an image by Erin Ware, and I have forgotten who this is by. If you remember, please comment. If you know, please comment below. And then we jump right in to July 1st, which of course is Collage Sheet Day, and I just put a picture of the collage sheets that I had for the month in there, and picture of some family and some birthday celebrating that we did. This is by Pocket Journal Pam. This is by Flimsy Fox. This also is by Pocket Journal Pam. And this also is by Flimsy Fox. On Saturday the 2nd, had a workshop, and usually I teach them, but my daughter taught this one, so I got to actually take the workshop as well, which was fun. And so we enjoyed that. This is by Erin Ware. I really like this. It's a quote from St. Teresa of Avila, and just something good to be reminded of from time to time. Listen to a good lesson on reframing, how we think, like thinking of it in a different light, and that was good. And had a pretty good day. Did some work in my sketchbook, which I enjoyed, and in fact painted this picture that I just had an urge to just paint for no reason or whatever, and this is what I painted, and actually ended up using those as some of my Patreon perks, and also that I used elsewhere in my journal. Had movie night. This is another one of my little digital downloads. Talked about the little route that I have been walking for exercise. I roasted some coffee. This is the label. Otherwise, it was just a really big work day on into the evening. Tuesday, I got my Patreon sticker club packs done. So that, I had a picture of that. I met a couple of my grandkids at a local ice cream parlor. That was fun. Went for a walk with my husband that evening and saw this whole family of raccoons. Like a mama raccoon with several little baby raccoons. It was so cute. They were just crossing the road. On Wednesday, I put a couple of pictures of the scenery. I have been enjoying the scenery a lot. We did some babysitting, so there's my husband with some grandkids. I liked this sticker and just kind of thought about storing up this sunny, happy day, for a cloudy day, so that concept. I did some more work in my sketchbook. I did some fox sketches in my sketchbook that some of it will later turn into artwork, and so that was fun. Just did some other work. I filmed a video. It was just kind of a catch-up day, as this says here. The next day I went to Trader Joe's, and so this was just some packaging that I'd had from Trader Joe's that I stuck in there. I love their packaging. It's so fun and interesting, and I think it'll be fun to look back on in years. So I just stuck some bits of packaging in there, and also then just wrote about some of our favorites from there that we got. Did some journaling this day. This is by Pocket Journal Pam. This is by my granddaughter, a cute little bird that she drew. This is from that page I said I painted in my sketchbook, and kind of represents my husband and I. So we went for a walk together that morning, and then I did some filming and editing the rest of the day. I also did some painting on a piece. Another good day. It's a good day when I get to actually do some art making. That's anywhere near relaxed. That's a good day. Wasn't feeling very good the next day, so I listened to an online lesson, and one thing they said jumped out at me is the life you're living getting in the road of the life you want. Kind of made me stop and think a little bit. Here's another figure out of that sketchbook spread I painted. This day I left for an artist residency. I still wasn't feeling very good, so it was kind of a rough day, but I got everything packed up to go and loaded up in the car, and met my daughter there. And after we got unloaded and settled in a little bit, we went out to eat, and then watched a movie, and it was just a pleasant evening, even though I wasn't feeling great. The next day we jumped into art making at our residency, and we also enjoy this nearby coffee shop that's very close by. So just talked about our experience there. The next day was kind of more of the same. We're in Lindsborg. I put a picture here of a block print that I finished up. That actually I'd started it this day and printed these, and then I printed a different version of it the next day. Got that finished up. Also went for a walk with my daughter and took some pictures around there. Otherwise, it was pretty much a art making day. As was the next day, still at the residency, but we did take time to go to a gallery that was in that little town over lunch, and enjoyed that. And then I also ended up going to the grocery store for some kids that were sick that lived nearby, and then also went to visit some grandkids that were at camp. These are some cookies that my daughter had made that were delicious. I had to take a picture of them because she decorated them so cute. Friday, we're still at the residency. Here we are at that same coffee shop again. Here's my setup for both my camera and everything at the studio where we worked. Hopefully I will have a video coming up for you of that week, so hopefully you can find out more about that later. Here's just the grounds at night with lights, and it was just very pretty. And my daughter with a dollar horse, which like every business, this happened to be a church, but every business or church or organization has a dollar horse in front of their place of business, so that's fun. On Saturday was the last day of a residency and also a workshop that my daughter taught, so I talked a little bit about it, and got home kind of late that night and unloaded, and then my daughter headed off to her home. The next day was potluck at church. And it was kind of a mixed bag. There was some sad things that happened that day, but also some good things. We took Buster to the shop, hoping it would be ready by the time we leave for Minnesota for some art shows. More on that later, but this is actually a double-decker bus sticker that I just cut the top deck off of so it'd look a little bit more like Buster. The next day, pretty much the whole next week, is just busy getting stuff ready for finishing up art, getting things done, ready for the next shows and getting, you know, the things caught up from being gone the week before at the residency, and then I have a week at home, and then I'll be gone a couple weeks to art shows. So just all the in-between stuff that needed to be done. Add to the fact that my husband was sick and had been for several days. He did take a COVID test on this day, which was negative, so that was good. The next day he was feeling better and went back to work. I had a visit from son and daughter-in-law and their kids, so that was really fun to see them. I didn't write much this day because I was catching it up later, and honestly it was just like another work day, so more of the same. But I did put this is by Erin Ware. These are all by Pocket Journal Pam. This is also by Erin Ware. This is by Loveland's Life. This is by Pocket Journal Pam. And so I just kind of put a lot of images and not much writing there. This is by Courtney Diaz. This is from my own Patreon sheets. I cut out from a little picture of a bunny that I took on my walk, and he was so cute. He was just like not afraid of me at all, so we were just kind of looking at each other, and he was hopping around and posing in different ways, and I took lots of pictures of him and included this one in here, and that was at sunrise, so I put a picture of the sunrise in there as well. I love that time of day. On Friday I didn't write too much on that day either, and because again it was more the same, but I did have these pretty pictures I took from my walk. And then these words are by Loveland's Life. Never lose your sense of wonder. I thought that fit in well with those pictures. And then I also have some downloads from Courtney Diaz on there. On this page, more from Loveland's Life. Some of my own patron sheets. Again, not a whole lot of writing on this day either. This is another Loveland's Life. She had the whole sheet of these little crayon phrases and words, and I thought they were really cute, so I put that on there. This is from one of my own past patron sheets, and then I just drew and watercolored this tree on here. On this day, this is by Pocket Journal Pam, I did a lot more getting ready for the show again, but I did have a daughter that's getting ready to go to grad school, and she bought a camper on this day to live in while she goes to school. She's very smart financially and just figured out that she could save a lot of money doing that, so that's what she's doing. So hope that all works out for her, and it is pretty ready to live in, but she wants to do a little decorating work, so it'll be fun to watch what she does with that. The next day was our grandson's birthday. He turned 10, so that's a big deal to be double digits. Otherwise, we're just getting ready to leave because we will be leaving the next day for our trip, which will be a visiting a daughter and another stay, as well as doing 2 art shows while we're there, and then kind of having some vacation days in between. So it'll be kind of, for us, a big trip. On the way there, we stopped at this store, and it actually isn't that far away, but I had never been there. And it's called Wonder Fair, and it just has the most delightful selection of stationery and art supplies, and I spent almost 2 hours there before we continued driving on, so that was really fun. We did not get our Buster back in time, so we had to rent a U-Haul trailer, which was fine, except for that meant sleeping in the little minivan instead of in the comfort of a shuttle bus that's been converted, so that was not so fun. But the next day, this is a photo of the sunrise. We spent the night in a rest stop, and then the next morning I took this picture of the sunrise. It was really pretty, and I had a nice view of it, so that was fun. we went to the town that my daughter lives in and just had a good time just shopping. They've got a bunch of fun little downtown shops. They also had this fun little stationery and art store that, of course, I went to. So that was, it doesn't get much better than that. Art supplies 2 days in a row. So that was fun. This was their library. The steps up to their library have been painted like books, and it is so cute. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe I'll put a image of that on here so that you can see. But that was really cool, so I took a picture of that. That night we had a radiator hose broke when we were at the campground trying to get situated for the night, and the radiator hose broke on our van. So the next morning we had to be towed to the shop and then go to a different small town nearby where we could rent a van so we could load up all the art show stuff into it so that we could set up for the art show that afternoon. So it all worked out. We got it done. Really very thankful for how smoothly everything worked. And this is a picture of my booth. This is just a picture of the college that my daughter is going to be a professor at a course at this college, so I stuck a postcard of that in there. And then the next day was the art festival began, so I put this was the cover of their brochure that I put on there. I love the artwork. They always have nice artwork on their brochures, so that's fun. And then I was one of the featured artists, so I had to put that page in there that told that. My husband had his little folding bike, and so he used that. We had to park kind of far away, so he used that to ride back and forth. You know, would like drop me off, and then he would ride back and forth. And this kind of reminded me of how he looked a little bit, because it's a kind of small bike. It's a folding bike, you know, and compared to, he's not a big guy, but he is a tall guy. And so it looks a little bit funny riding that little bike, but we were so thankful to have that bike along because it came in handy so many times on the trip. I talked about how sales were slow, but an advantage of that is I had some time to play in my sketchbook while we were sitting in the booth. So that was a positive. I mentioned the pieces that I did sell. I have some pictures from the city. We were right like downtown, so I just took pictures of some neat buildings. That night we spent the night at a Cracker Barrel. They allow overnight parking, and so we spent the night there. And then the next day was the second day of the art festival, and also the last day of July. It was my daughter's birthday, and then there's a couple a few things I bought at the art festival. I guess we weren't terribly busy in the booth, so there was some times that I went and looked around while my husband manned the booth, which is dangerous. I got this really cool handmade bag from repurposed materials. It's just my sketch doesn't really do it justice, but it is a very cool bag. And then I also got a very cool pottery mug, which I do not need another one, but it was just too cool. And then I also got a print of some artwork from artists that I spent some time visiting with, so that was fun. So then I put this grasshopper sticker because there was this little tiny grasshopper that just was hanging out on a piece of art, hanging out in the booth. So that was fun. Last year when we did this show, there was a butterfly that was hanging out on my artwork, so it's kind of fun. Kept up the tradition. If we do it again next year, it makes me wonder what kind of little insect will be hanging out on the art then. But that's it for the month, and I am ready to start August. We're already well into August, so I have some, it's partly done, but I definitely have some catching up to do. I did write little sticky notes to help myself out, and have a lot of fun things to journal as our trip continues there. So that's it for July, though. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.